doing another voiceover because I have been working hard at the new Memory of Chaos. So I have recorded the footage already, and I'm just going to be whispering to you about the poor decisions I make. And we can also have a bit of mic brushing as well. But why don't we teleport on over to the MoC, and we'll see what the special effect is this time around. So the special memory turbulence says this time increases all allies' max HP by 30%. Every time an ally is attacked, restores HP equals to 5% of their max HP and adds 1 hit to the hits per action of memory turbulence. Every time an ally consumes HP, restores HP equal to 10% of their max HP and adds 2 hits to the hits per action of memory turbulence. This effect can only trigger once per attack, and up to 20 hits can be added this way. At the beginning of each cycle, each hit from memory turbulence deals 1 instance of true damage to a random enemy target. So this is perfect for the recently released characters who have aspects of their skills which first of all are based on HP for the damage, and also consumes HP of themselves or their team. I have Mydei, who I'm enjoying using a lot, but I don't have Castris. I'm pretty sure when I recorded this, Mydei was still on banner, maybe. It wasn't the anniversary yet, so I think Castris wasn't available, but either way, I didn't. I haven't been pulling for her. But why don't we start by looking at the first floor we'll be doing, which is number 9. So, the first section is weak to quantum and ice. The second section is I spot an imaginary symbol right there at the front, so a perfect floor for Mydei to show up. I'm deciding to run him with Ruan Mei here. There's Mydei. I love using Mydei and Sunday as well. And Gallagher is a great pick with Mydei for the healing. Then on the first half we're doing The Herta, Jade of course, a great pairing. We've got the Harmony Trailblazer and Lingshot as well. I'm pretty happy with the composition there, so why don't we check out some of the builds here. Here's my The Herta. She does a pretty good job. At the moment I've got her on Argenti's signature light cone. But we might switch her over to Jingyuan's. In fact we do. She's on a 4-piece Scholar Lost in Erudition with the Divine Realm planar ornaments, and I have her at E1, E1, E1. Next up, let's take a look at Jade, who is pretty slow. She actually has the new set, the new-ish set, which reduces her speed. But it increases her crit rate, I think. I have her on the Night on the Milky Way Erudition light cone, which is pretty decent for Erudition characters. Although I'm just considering whether I want to switch her over. I'm not using Jing Yuan this time around, so it's a bit of a toss-up, but I keep her there. Here we are, she's on the Poet of Morning Collapse, which decreases their speed but increases their crit rate. I think that's pretty perfect for Jade, because a lot of her damage comes from her follow-ups, which trigger based on another character's attacks. I have Jade at E1 here. So she boosts herself at the beginning thanks to a trace, pops her skill on the Herta, and we're good to go. Here's my Remembrance Trailblazer, who's pretty quick and I think has a decent amount of crit damage, which I think the Memo Sprite Mem shares around, something like that. I do have one Remembrance light cone, which is the one that you can buy in the Divergent Universe store, but I think the one I've got on is a bit better. We're on a split 2-piece set here, which just aims to increase their speed as much as possible. E6, of course, because you get all of these from the quests. That's it for them. Linksha's here next, speeding through these. She's pretty quick, she has a load of break effect, and that's kind of it. We have her on a Super Imposition 5 What is Real light cone, and a bit of a split set for break effect and speed. Break effect and speed. I don't have any Eidolons for her though, but she does the job. Next up we'll take a look at Ruan Mei, who I'm not entirely proud of. She's been left behind. I know that she is a really, really good Harmony character, but I just don't use her that much. So I think we might even try and build her a little bit here. Let's see if I've got any better pieces for her. This is the kind of mess that we're working with at the moment. So I'm pretty sure I take a look through here and see if I can swap anything around. We want as much break effect as possible on her. I think, I'm not sure if there's a cap, but I'm pretty sure the two stats we're looking for mainly are speed and break effect. So I'm just clicking through a few of my pieces to see if there's anything better here. This could be good, so we're gonna level it up a bit. We get attack, which isn't what we're looking for Ruan Mei, but there's one on break effect, a roll. Crit damage again, not what we're looking for. We'd like all of these to go into break effect if possible. 2 rolls into crit damage and abandon. I don't know if it's worth putting any more into this one. So instead I switch back to my defense set boots, which are not on a particularly useful set, but they have 2 rolls into break effect as a substat, so let's see if we can get a third one. Perfect. Perfect. 24.6% break effect on that is pretty good. Although it will mean that we're not on a particularly good set effect there. My gear is a bit limited when it comes to break effect and speed, because I have like 3 characters who use those stats mainly, all fighting for it. I like using Gallagher and Lingsha. I think they're both really good healers, and they both want speed and break effect. And of course Ruan Mei here wants speed and break effect. So we're just rolling a couple more pieces to see what we get. This one looks good, but I've run out of level up material, which is surprising because I feel like all I do is farm equipment and never level anything up. But what it does mean is that we're gonna have to make do for now. So we'll just find some pieces that I might have already that are good to go. Those gloves look pretty good. I'm trying to keep the messenger traversing hackerspace set on, and we're up to 150 something it was, and we're also looking pretty behind on traces. I'm just checking what the cap might be, so it's every 10% that exceeds 120. It gives you 6% more, up to 36%. So that's 180% break effect is kind of what you want to aim for. So that's what we're going to try and get through my pieces today, if we can. I have her on the Pan Cosmic something set, which is not a useful set effect for Ruan Mei. If we can, we'd want her on something like Talia, Kingdom of Banditry. So I'm just taking a look through to see if I can find any good pieces there to put her on. This one looks pretty good. It's a break effect main stat with some speed, not too much. But I'm just weighing up pros and cons. It would mean swapping her off of an energy regenerate main piece, which is also a good stat for her, and you can only find it as a main stat on the link rope, so it's in high demand. It's in high demand. For now, I swap her onto a energy regen main stat Talia rope, but the substats on that piece weren't very good. And now we're just looking for a sphere, a break effect sphere. We're pretty behind, 136.3, and we want 160, 180. So I'm scrambling here a bit for some more break effect if I can get it. The Thief of Shooting Meteor, of course, is a good set because the 2-piece just gives you 16%, which is a pretty decent amount. So if I can swap her over to that, I want to. But I'm behind on farming break effect pieces. I did some farming when Boot Hill came out, and I think that was probably about it. So I have quickly swapped her onto a piece with 22% break effect as a substat. And we're revisiting a few other pieces as well. sets, of course, if doing that would give me more break effect overall. But I'm not sure if I find anything better at this point, so I kind of just say, you know what? You know what, screw it. We're gonna go with 150% break effect, or else I'm gonna be here all day. No eidolons there. Next up, star of the show though, we have Mydei, who I have at E1 with 8,960 health, 141 speed, and a pretty good crit rate and crit damage ratio there. He gets a load from one of his traces. I do also have his signature light cone, which is great. Ruan, the 4-piece scholar lost in erudition, and the something domain. I've scrolled down a bit so I can't see that. It's the HP percentage planar ornaments. Sunday is up next. He is at 140 speed, which is the perfect breakpoint to work with Mydei. We'll see it when we do some fights. I have his signature light cone. And he is on the Lushaka, the Sunken Seas 2-piece ornament set, and the Sacerdoce's relived ordeal 4-piece. With E2 for the eidolons. And for Sunday we want to hit a specific speed breakpoint and then get as much crit damage as possible, so he had a lot of that. Gallagher here has 150 speed and 150% break effect. Like we were looking at earlier, the break effect pieces are in high demand. So I have him on at what is real light cone for the break effect that it gives you. And he is at E6, thankfully, which is a good place to keep him. And I'm just swapping over the order there, which shouldn't really matter too much. But it's mainly because Sunday's planar ornaments give the person in the first place order some extra attack, which is entirely wasted on Mydei. But we can eke out just a little bit more damage on Gallagher. But that's enough of all of those builds. We're gonna jump in to the first fight here. Usually I like running the Herta with Sunday. Let's be honest. Any main carry likes to be run with Sunday. But I have her here with the Harmony Trailblazer, who also boosts people up the turn order. But you might have just seen, I kept finding that I had this really awkward turn order where Mem, the Harmony Trailblazer's Memo sprite, would get 100% on their charge bar and be ready to boost someone up the turn order just before the Herta went. So if I did this again, I would take a look at the speeds and just see if I could get Herta to be maybe a bit quicker. She'd have to go before Lingsha, I suppose. Just to make sure that we didn't waste that boost. But floor 9 with one of the top DPSs at the moment, the Herta, isn't much of a challenge. So we just play as usual, and here I am double checking what Mem actually does. I'll be honest, I think I got like Trailblazer not long after I got Sunday, so they felt a bit outshined. But that was me overlooking the other bonuses that they give you. You get a bit of crit rate, I think, from them, and they also give you a really good amount of damage from some extra true damage every time you do an attack with the character you've chosen. Plus, of course, Mem is super cute. We only just missed the one cycle, but I think I say this every time. I'm not too bothered about min-maxing to try and get one cycle or anything. I just want to make sure that I get all 36 stars if I can, for the maximum amount of stellar jade for extra pulls. But we made it through to the second floor, where we get to see Mydei in action, which is always a treat. And he kind of carried me through this MoC, which is not too surprising. But just there we saw how the speed tuning on Sunday and Mydei works so well, where Mydei gets a go, and then Sunday goes just after to bring him back up, straight after Sunday. So the turn order goes Mydei, Sunday, Mydei. It just works really well, and that's the kind of speed tuning that you kind of want with all of these characters that boost other people. So Sunday, Bronya. I'm not sure if you can aim for the same thing with the Harmony Trailblazer because of the way that the charge bar works, but we made quick work. We made quick work of that floor there, and we pick up all the rewards for floors 1 to 8. Because of the kind of catch-up thing. So let's take a look at floor 10. I do spot another imaginary symbol down there, so I'm happy. I'm happy to see that, and we can use Mydei again. But the first floor is weak to Quantum and Fire. Apart from Firefly, I don't really have too many good fire DPSs. But to be honest, I'm not super used to using Firefly. I don't use her that much. I know she's really good, but I just don't find myself wanting to use her. She's probably, sorry, Firefly stands. She's probably one of my regret pulls. Like, I'm pretty sure I just pulled for her because I heard that she was really good, but I just don't vibe with her as a character, so I never use her. Anyway, I make the poor decision here to try and go for a main DPS Topaz. We'll see how that pans out, but here I am just checking what kind of gear I have on her. I want to just try and get like traditional main carry stats. Some speed, some crit rate, crit damage, attack, all of that kind of thing. Topaz is a bit different because a lot of her damage comes from Numby, her big pet trotter, sorry. And when Topaz uses her ultimate, allied attacks can bring Numby forward. So I think you could get away with not having as much speed on her, but I'm just like chucking some pieces on here to see what we can do. turns out it didn't really matter in any case because, a slight spoiler, this upcoming fight was a slog. It was a long one. Main DPS Topaz wasn't quite what I was hoping for. We're looking good there, but the crit damage kind of seems a bit low. I have her on the cruising in the Stellar Sea light cone, which is the one you can get from Divergent Universe. So we're gonna jump in with this, and with my main DPS Topaz, I have her paired up with Jade, the Harmony Trailblazer and Lingshot, just like the Herta in the team before. I do have Jade at E1, I think, which is the one that lets her get extra stacks if the target who she has her buff on only hits one enemy. So Jade works just fine with Topaz here, and we're also a pretty skill point positive team. So I can go ahead and use Topaz's skill every turn if I want to. I'm not entirely sure how much more damage it does, but we have the skill points to spare here. As long as our health is high enough, then we don't need to use Lingsha's healing on her skill. We do get healing from her burst and from her passive, which is like a panic heal that triggers when someone's health drops too low. So here we are, focusing our attacks on the horse with fire weakness, because the automaton next to him, I think they're called automatons actually, something like that, isn't weak to fire, so we're not going to do as good a job. He does also laser target poor little Mem with an imprisonment, which always surprises me when enemies attack the Memo sprites. Just because with Numby actually, and with Lightning Lord for Jing Yuan, they are untargetable, but they do show up in the turn order. So I'm just used to that kind of additional attack. But this automaton is tanky. We especially when it summons its ads, which kind of lock its weakness bar. Jade is the only person we brought along that it is weak to anyway, so it's all up to her. We make it through to the second phase of this one, which is against one of the flying horses, again the Pegasus, and also Cocolia. Unfortunately, Lingsha is imprisoned and is the one that can clear debuffs with a skill, so thankfully we managed to get her out of that before the enemy had a turn, or else we might have been at risk of someone dying. This phase is a bit better for us because Jade's follow-up attacks can do some weakness damage to both of the enemies. And we also have a choice of targets for Topaz. might go for the Pegasus. I figure it's probably better for us to try and take out the ad first of all. Just to limit our risk of dying. But again, the main DPS Topaz isn't quite pulling her weight. I'm sure you probably could. You probably could build her like that, but you might need a better light cone and some better gear than I have her on at the moment. And there's a strong possibility that she's not fully traced up. I forgot to check. So maybe that's why. But we, as long as we get it within 10 cycles, as long as we finish both sides, within 10 cycles we get 4 stars. So we are coming up on the end of the 4th cycle here. Thankfully, I'm pretty confident that Mydei can pick up the slack on the second half. So we just need to get through the rest of this. This team doesn't work as well with the memory turbulence effect. No one here scales from HP. We took a beating there though, so thankfully Lingsha's coming up and can heal us all up, but that was a lot of damage. Yeah, the memory turbulence. We don't have any HP scaling, which is fine. But we do have Jade's HP consuming mechanic, which works pretty well with it. So at the end of each cycle, we do a nice chunk of damage to and we need all the damage we can get at this point. But she's on 14% HP now, and I'm pretty sure we can finish up this cycle. At the very least, we'll finish her off with the burst of damage at the end. But 3%, we're gonna be good. It means that we have four cycles to finish the second half. So let's all put our hopes and dreams in the capable hands of Mydei. We pop all of our techniques. I use Mydei's technique to daze the enemy and then attack with Galaga, so that we apply the besotted debuff to all of the enemies, but we also get the benefits of Mydei's technique, the extra vendetta points as well as the taunt. So we let Mydei do his thing. He has a couple of goes and pops some big numbers. 858k there on an empowered vendetta. The Godslayer be God attack, and the Wonder Forest's Banacademic office staff is a really good fight for us, especially with E1 Mydei, which changes his Godslayer be God attack from a blast target to an AoE target. So we get to hit all of the enemies and they share a health bar. So when Mydei gets a go, we pop some big numbers, which is always fun to see. And we need it in this case, of course, because the DPS Topaz didn't live up to expectations. That is, of course, a pretty roided up Mydei with his signature light cone and Sunday buffing him as well. So I'm very happy to have invested all of that into him, considering we get some nice big numbers as well. But we just have one more life bar to take down for these guys. They do get one of their ultimate attacks off, but it doesn't do too much to us. And Mydei comes straight back in with a revenge hit to finish them off with another huge number. And that's floor 10 done. That's floor 10 done. Let's go ahead and pick up all of our Stellar Jade. And self-modeling resin before I forget it. And we'll jump into floor 11. So, floor 11 has the dreaded Ule. And also Nikador, pretty sure that is. Unfortunately, neither of these have the imaginary weakness that we love to see. But I do have Yunli, who I find is really, really good against Ule, who always seems to have more and more HP every time he shows up in one of these. Yunli works really well with Gallagher because of the way that Gallagher's healing works. We're also going to pick up Robin, who works really well with follow-up attacks. And we'll bring the Harmony Trailblazer as well, because I'm planning on using Sunday in the second team alongside the traditional The Herta Jade setup, along with Linkshot there as well. Well, we are reconsidering the first team. Sometimes I forget what I'm doing here. Just to put, okay, that makes sense. We're putting Yunli in the middle. Putting her in the middle so that she catches more blast attacks. And we can build up her ultimate quicker. And here we go. Yeah, so Gallagher works really well with these like follow-up kind of parry type characters like Yunli, Blade, Mydei to some extent. In case you didn't know, the way that Gallagher's healing works, mostly. He does have a big heal, single target heal on his skill, but most of the time you rely on his ultimate. When you use it, it will put a debuff on all of the enemies, called Besotted. And every time an ally character attacks an enemy with the Besotted debuff, they get healed for a very decent amount. So people like Yunli who parry attacks, so when they get hit, they hit them back. They work so well with Gallagher. They'll take a bit of damage when they get hit, then they'll parry and heal it back up straight away. So that's why Gallagher's one of the best healers, even though he's just a 4-star. So I'm really glad I have him at E6, which just makes him that much better. I'm holding on to his heal right here though. The enemies still have Besotted on them, and we're almost done with this half anyway. Gallagher also has a kind of interesting panic heal his ult does is when you press it, we'll see now, he'll apply Besotted and do some damage to everyone. And then he will boost himself in the turn order to go next and empower his next basic attack, so that when he uses it, he heals everyone for the besotted heal amount. So it is kind of a panic heal, or you can use it like that, but because he boosts himself up in the turn order, you can sometimes get caught. By bosses who go like twice in a row. So it has a bit of nuance to it. Anyway, here we are squaring up against Hule, and I really like Yunli for this fight. Hule attacks quite often, so Yunli gets a load of counters in. And also, if you see just below Hule's health bar, he has a special gauge which at the moment says 6-2. When he's in his Moon Rage state, if he gets 6 attacks kind of in a row, then he'll do, I'm pretty sure, like one big attack that, you know, just wipes you pretty much. But if you do 6 attacks against him, so if you move that counter up to 6 and 0, then he'll take a big chunk of damage. So being able to have someone like Yunli who constantly keeps that bar in check works really well. Blade is also pretty good against Hule. He is weak to wind damage. Blade doesn't do as many counters, of course. Yunli hits back every time she's hit, but Blade is like every 5 times, or like three times if you pair him with Jade, who works really well. I'm excited for the Blade buffs, which are supposedly coming soon, as well as the fact that you now get like specialized, customized pity. The pity pool on counters, not counters, on banners. So I've picked Blade as one of my pity pool. And in fact I lost pity recently and picked up another Blade. So I'm excited for him to become meta again when he gets his buff. For now though, we're focusing on taking down Hule. And although this is a pretty good team against him, he's so tanky. It's taking us a few cycles to clear. Just like floor 10 though, I'm pretty confident in my second team, which is a pretty standard The Herta team. We should be able to clear that one in just. For now though, we're just focusing on finishing off Hule. I can see just on the left there we have 18 stacks of the memory turbulence, which does a nice chunk of damage but doesn't quite finish him off. Yunli's ultimate empowered counters are the big kind of DPS chunks here, so we should be able to finish him off in just a couple more turns here. Just a couple more turns. And I think 5 cycles. We'll finish it within 4, I'm pretty sure. That 25 there marks the beginning of the 25th cycle. So I think we're at 4. 4 is pretty good for a floor 11 Hule. But here we are with our powerhouse team, using our fight against Nikador. We take a couple hits before we get a go, which feels a bit harsh. But thankfully, Linkshot comes in with a automatic heal to keep us topped up, and this is the perfect floor for The Herta and Jade. We have a load of targets here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of them. 5 of them, with a mix of ice and quantum weakness. So between the two of them, Jade and The Herta are gonna clear up. The Herta benefits a lot from being played with AoE teammates, because every time you hit an enemy with anyone on the team, or The Herta's allies, I think is more accurate, The Herta gets some energy. So playing against these big waves of enemies means that The Herta is juiced up on energy, and is constantly using her ult, which gives her an empowered skill, and that's where her big chunk of damage comes from. I'm trying to be a bit greedy here though. I want to hold on to her empowered skill if I can to use in the next phase, considering these guys are so low on HP. We don't quite finish that guy off and he uses up all of our memory turbulence stacks. I also know that this boss pulls your souls out and summons all of these extra guys to hit. So that's why I didn't use The Herta's skill there either. But now's the time. We're gonna pop the skill to do a big old chunk of damage to everyone on the enemy's side. And just like we said, the more enemies there are, the quicker The Herta gets her ult back. So we follow it up with an almost instant second empowered skill and ult. So with just a few hits, the Giver, Master of Legions, Lance of Fury Nikador himself is almost down. He does have 2 health bars, of course, and I'm weighing up whether to be greedy again. He's on 8%. We're almost at the end of the cycle, so we're going to get a big chunk of damage from the memory turbulence stacks. So I do decide to be a little bit greedy and hold on to The Herta's skill, just for the second time that he yanks out our souls. Thankfully, Sundays managed to sneak in just before the end of the cycle, so we can pull The Herta back up. Pop his ult as well, and we're gonna whack them with a big ult. Smack. I think maybe that time we missed the big crit on the big Nikador boss, because that second time we hit it, and it completely chunked his HP away. So with all of that, we didn't get a chance to use it, but we almost got like 3 Herta skills back to back, which is why I love using her. But without too much trouble, we finished floor 11, and we can move on to floor 12, which is against a boss that I haven't actually fought yet, the Flame Reaver of the Deepest Dark. Flame Reaver of the Deepest Dark. I haven't actually actually fought him in the story yet. I need to catch up. But I'm just reading through some of his skills to see if there's anything I need to watch out for. I don't think so, though. Thankfully, these bosses line up perfectly with our recent carry pulls. So we can use Mydei against Kafka on the second floor, and we can use The Herta and Jade against the Flame Reaver on the first floor. I have heard a few, I think probably pretty fair complaints about the Flame Reaver. I decide to run this team with Sunday just because I'm not entirely confident at what he does. Here I am checking out this model. So I want to bring the strongest team possible just in case. But yeah, I've heard some complaints about the Flame Reaver boss on floor 12, where it seems to be a bit of a DPS check to see if you've got the Herta, Jade or Castris. Because as you'll see, I don't actually have too much trouble. Thankfully, I have the Herta and Jade. I'm glad I pulled for Jade, even though at the time I think people were saying she's a bit lackluster. But thankfully, with the release of the Herta, she pairs up so well. Yeah, so we don't actually have too much trouble against this boss. We have the perfect characters, but I do agree it sucks a bit where if you don't pull for the latest characters, sometimes these floors get so difficult. So difficult. And it does become a bit of a check to make sure you've got the right characters. But good news for us, we do. So here I am facing another conundrum about how greedy I should be. I want to try and hold on to that empowered skill. And I'm pretty confident we can finish off this guy with just a hit from the Herta. But there we are. You might have seen I had my mouse over Linksha's ult because I was doubting myself a bit. But here we are against the Flame Reaver. I don't want to use the skill just there. Not only because he summons ads, but he also didn't have full stacks of the Herta's is it inspiration? I think she has two stackable things. It's one of them. It's the number of the enemy's heads. You can get a maximum of 42 on the field at any one time. And we want to try and max it out as much as possible. Her ult repositions all of the numbers, rejigs all of the numbers, so that you get the highest number of stacks on the main target at once. 42 there. So we want to be using that wherever possible, just to make sure we get those big chunks of damage on the Flame Reaver himself. But every time these ghosts get summoned, we clear them up pretty quickly with all of our AoE. And we finish off this fight in just a few cycles, I'm pretty sure. I was a bit worried about it because I haven't fought this guy yet, so I wasn't sure what he did. And I heard some scary things, but he wasn't so tough. He wasn't so tough. We're just waiting for the Herta to come back around. this guy does still have quite a lot of HP. Our big hits with the Herta are not doing quite as much to his health bar as I would have hoped. But we're only on the second cycle, so we're looking pretty good here. And this boss also looks incredible. I'm looking forward to finding out kind of where he sits in the lore and everything like that. I've seen a couple things online that maybe slightly spoil it, but I don't mind too much. We just need to finish off the last bit of this guy's health bar. Can we do it before the end of the cycle? I think so. I can see the Herta sneaking in just before the end, and we're almost fully charged on an ult, so we just need to hit this guy for 10% of his health. Do we have it? We're out of skill points. Very awkward. We snuck into the next phase ever so slightly, but that's alright. As long as we get it within 10, I'm happy. So, here we are against a boss that we've seen quite a few times now, and it's Kafka. Although just like the Flame Reaver boss, I've not seen this sun-faced lion with wings, like a kind of chimera. They have a name. I can't think what it is yet. Right now, with the lion with wings of an eagle and a snake tail or something, scorpion tail. They have a specific name, but I can't think what it is. Anyway, we're just going to be clearing up with a couple of 1.5 million damage hits from Mydei. He doesn't come around quite so often with the Harmony Trailblazer, because of course Sunday pulls people back up in the turn order every time he has a turn, as long as you're using his skill. But with the Harmony Trailblazer, you need to be charging up Mem's charge bar, so it's slightly less predictable. But thankfully, the few turns that Mydei does get is more than enough to clear up these enemies here. There's still a decent chunk of HP left on this lion, so I'm considering whether to use Mydei's ult or not. Just trying to eke out as much as I can for the second half. Again, this team here is very SP skill point friendly. Ruan Mei just needs to use one every 3 or 4 turns to keep up her skill. Gallagher, you don't really need to use his skill ever, because he provides so much healing from his ult. Once Mydei is in his vendetta state, he doesn't use skill points anymore. So I take to using the Trailblazer's skill every time I can. It heals Mem, which of course isn't always needed, but it gives, I'm pretty sure, more charge than a basic attack. So that's why I do that. Mydei just because Mydei takes a few too many hits from Kafka. But there is a little bit of negative synergy between Mydei and Ruan Mei. It's not too serious, but of course Mydei gets charge every time he loses HP. With quite a lot of his charge coming from his skill uses and things like that. But of course he also gets charge whenever he's hit. Ruan Mei keeps enemies weakness broken for an extra turn. So it just means that you spend longer waiting for Mydei to get hit. Just there was a little bit ropey. Trailblazer was on like 600 HP from a huge hit from Kafka. But we give her a whack with Mem, pull Mydei back up, and finish her off with a big old hit. And there we go. Thankfully, I had some really great characters to work with for this Memory of Chaos. And so I didn't have too much trouble. And we walk out of it with 36 stars. That's the maximum amount, so I have as many jades as possible to use. I think in terms of upcoming pulls and another Honkai video, of course, I have been dropping some pulls into Castris, who is on banner as of the time I'm speaking. But I was hoping to get her really early, just in case, because I'm not super interested in her. I think she's cool and everything, but I'm more interested in Anaxa, who is coming up next. So that will be the next video for Honkai, I'm pretty sure. When Anaxa comes out, I'll finish off my pulls for him. I think I'm at like 50 something pity, so we're looking pretty good. And I had a failed 50-50, so we're almost definitely gonna get Anaxa, so keep an eye out for that. We'll do a bit of a showcase just to see how he works. But that's it for today. There was a lot of rambling because the MoC was pretty clean. There wasn't too much going on there, but I really hope that you enjoyed this one anyway, and that you found it relaxing and maybe interesting. And